Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have Daredevil. This is a figure I've been needing in my collection. This isn't exactly the Daredevil I have been wanting. I want the 3-pack Daredevil, but I don't want to have to buy a 3-pack in order to get that figure. So hopefully here soon they'll release a single release version of that Daredevil and I can have the more iconic looking Daredevil. But this is a cool looking version of that figure. So, I'm pretty happy to have this one. This whole Marvel Knights wave, is a wave I'm pretty into. Fortunately, the one I care about the most is the one I was able to find. I haven't been able to find any of the other figures, mostly because I think these aren't necessarily, a wave that's, like, being distributed, widely throughout, like, Walmart and Target and all that. I think it's mostly like online or GameStop is what I read somewhere. And I don't really shop at GameStop like ever, mostly because it's super far away, but also because the deals there are really just not the best. It's not the store it used to be, I guess, is what you could say. But I'm pretty happy to get my hands on this guy, so I guess let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the front of the box. And if you notice, boom, windowed packaging. It's no longer windowless. We have the return of the windows. That was a big controversy. I was on one side of it. I didn't really care too much. I know everyone else cared. Mostly, I was I didn't want to hate on Hasbro too much because I really did not care about this. I thought it was a noble pursuit, I suppose, but obviously people weren't very happy with it, but I really could have took it or left it. I really just did not care that much to be angered by it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, obviously, but I really just did not care about whether or not it was windowed versus windowless. I thought if they wanted to adapt the packaging style, they could have. If they wanted to change it up so it uses less plastic or whatever. I think there's a way they can do that, and I still think there's a way they can do that, but unfortunately, it looks like they're just moving on from it, and they're just going back to this one permanently. I think there's ways, man. The new WWE Elite style packaging, that looks pretty good, and it uses a little bit less. Obviously, there's still the window, but it's not as large as this window is, and I know some people would still probably be bothered by that, but it's a compromise, and I think that's what Hasbro can pull off with this wave. They just need to put a little bit more effort into it, I think, but I digress. You do get to see the figure again, with the windowed packaging. On the side of the box, you have this nice, beautiful looking artwork right there. Similar, I believe. Yeah, it's not the same artwork, but it's similar artwork on the back. Of course, you can't see it. All the figures in the wave right here. I really want to get my hands on that Blade. I also want to get my hands on Luke Cage, and just a regular old Fist Ninja would be pretty cool. Everyone else, Lady Bullseye looks pretty cool, and I don't know anything about Cleo. I only learned about her from the Doctor Strange movie. That's the first time I saw her, so not too interested in her as a figure, but she does look kind of cool, so maybe if I find her, I'll pick her up. And then this Iron Man, I don't really typically like that weirder style of, like, it's like the Hydro suit Spider-Man type of toy where it's like, okay, this is really, it's too goofy. Obviously, that's the Marvel Legends, or not Marvel Legends, Marvel Knights, the video game costume, and I didn't like it in that game either, so I don't know. If I find him, maybe. I do want to build this Mindless One Build-A-Figure, but if I don't get to, I think I'll be okay, especially since this is a harder wave to track down, but you never know. I could find it maybe on Nerdzoic, their website, for cheap. I know waves typically, if they're less popular waves, they tend to go on discount for around $100 there, so maybe I could get my hands on all the figures there. I don't know, it depends. Same artwork on this side of the box, and now we're back to the front of the box, so we can go ahead and transition to the figure. Okay, so this is pretty much all you get. You don't get a ton of things, but you do get some nice goodies here. Starting with this nice blade type weapon. You have 2 blades on either side. Both look fairly decent, nice texture work. It looks fairly cool. Nothing too spectacular about that right there. And then, of course, in his little sheath, we have the classic Daredevil staff thing. I don't know what this would be called, but basically you can put it together like so. So you can have one long staff or hold one in each hand like so. Both look pretty cool. This one's a little bit longer, only because of the little plug down here at the bottom, but they're both pretty much the same length, but they look neat, I suppose. And then you have his sheath right here that you can store those in when you're not using them. Pretty cool, moves around. It's not stuck on his body anywhere. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, you could take it off, but then it would make this area right here look a little rough, I guess. As far as the rest of the figure goes, the head sculpt, we have this nice looking bearded Daredevil with a nice cowl. I do like this version of his cowl, a little bit longer hair. The paintwork is fine. It looks a little wonky right there. I don't really know what's going on there. It looks like his ear is kind of peeking out, but I don't know. The paint on that looks a little off. And then his face, too, looks a little gnarly. I just now noticed his face looking a little wonk, especially around the mouth and beard area, but the eyes look okay. Everything else looks fairly decent. The sculpt work on the hair looks pretty okay. The sculpt work on the beard looks okay. Nice Daredevil horns. This mask, of course, in the comics, I would assume is something he can pull up and just make a complete cowl that covers his entire face, but when he wants to, bloop, just falls down right there like so. Nice DD on the chest, black DD, not the red DD version. He's a little dusty. It's been a while since I've actually unboxed him. I'm recording this at a separate time, but this is an interesting attire. I haven't read the comic where this attire makes its appearance, but it looks pretty cool. It reminds me of the Elektra Daredevil. I wonder if they're related in any way. If they appear in the same comic or whatever, but they look fairly similar, it's very cohesive, those two versions of Daredevil. But yeah, I do like the look of this. I like the nice armory bits on his shoulders, the nice details on him. Very basic, very plain looking Daredevil. It looks very cool though. I'm very much into this. I do want to get a just regular Daredevil, of course. But this is a nice little variant version of that character. You do have the gauntlets where it's bandaged up, it's wrapped up like a classic typical ninja. Same with the feet down here at the bottom. Nice texture work on this bandaged leg, of course, looking cool. And then the baggy pants look pretty neat as well. Everything about this just looks fine except for the little wonky area in the mouth, but beyond that, I'd say this figure looks pretty cool. So I guess we can go over articulation, starting with the head, which I don't anticipate too much. Yeah, not going back very much at all. Forward, it kind of gets blocked by this scarf right here. I wonder if you can move that. I think you could, but it would look bad. Wiggle side to side, rotates all the way around like so. Arm comes up to about right there, rotates all the way around like so. Nice and solid. I like the way that feels. Double jointed pinless elbows can come up to about right there. Nice, decent articulation there, looking pretty good. As far as the wrist or the wrist goes, it looks like it can go in. Let's face it, forward, in, and out, and all the way around like so. Pretty good there. Swivel at the bicep. I don't know if I mentioned that, but there is some swivel there, and nothing down here except for the wrist, of course. Ab crunch looking like, let's move these arms out of the way, going backwards. Pretty much what you would expect going forwards. Pretty decent, I'd say. Nice crunch there. If you add the legs into it, of course, that means he can bend to about that far, which is about what I'd want. He can bring the legs back up. Of course, a nice high kick for his more action-y scenes. Nice, maybe he's kicking down a door or something, kicking down a hand ninja or something like that. He can do the splits like so. Fairly decent, nice super kick right there. Swivel at the thigh, rotates all the way around like so. Double jointed pinless knees, looking pretty good. A little wonky if you face it forward, but of course, I don't think that's something you'd really pay too much attention to. Maybe, I don't know. There are big knees, so obviously it looks a little wonky when you bend it. But I don't hate it. I don't know. I wish it looked better, but I'm fine with it as it is, of course. Ankle goes down, ankle goes up fairly decently, and then swivels side to side like so. And that is Daredevil. I think this is an absolutely wonderful figure. If you don't have a Daredevil, I think this is a neat substitution for that character. This is it works. It represents the character fairly well. Nice accessories, not a lot of accessories, unfortunately. No alternate hands, no alternate heads, just these two weapons, which is okay, I suppose. I do want to get my hands on that hand ninja. I think that would be a pretty cool addition alongside Daredevil himself. But, if you don't have him, like I said, this is a pretty good interpretation of the character, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it goes along well with the Elektra that I have, so if you also have that Elektra, this adds to that little collection. Of course, I still want to get the regular old Daredevil, but I like this guy. It makes me want to look into his comic that he appears in, this specific version of Daredevil. I kind of want to check that out just because I love this look so much. It's a very cool adaptation. It's a very cool modernization of what Daredevil would look like nowadays. So let me know what you guys think of him down in the comments below. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. All the things YouTubers ask you to do, just do it for me as well. And I will be back with another video, hopefully very, very soon. Bye.